Alright, you guys. And there it is.
So long, Bowser.
We have presumably defeated the Dragon Lord. I wasn't really planning on... Hold on. Okay. Sorry, I had to, oh gosh, don't fly off. I had to turn off my fan there. But yeah, I think that we did it. That really wasn't too bad. A few practice tries. Lots of scrolls of Ultimate Doomsday. And yeah. Whew, okay, when I have more time to record, I'll probably record a more proper kind of conclusion to the map. But yeah. Go ahead and enjoy the little cutscene here. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay. This is my 4th time trying to record this stupid audio. We have beaten the map. We are here at the end. We're talking to all the NPCs. I messed up. I forgot to unmute myself. And then when I did everything again, things got messed with my mic. And it didn't register the correct mic. And it was using my headphones mic. And it was just... Oh, I'm so upset right now. Okay. Say goodbye to Eddie Murphy. Say goodbye to all the NPCs. What have I talked about before? Yeah, so... the map has some amazing RPG elements. I think, you know, the distinct NPC characters, the storyline, just the overall kind of world building, I think, is probably the most extensive that we've ever seen on any Minecraft CTM map. The other two that come to mind for me are Divinity's End, and then from what I understand, Final Paradox is very similar in terms of having these kinds of RPG elements. So I think even though overall the map is not really my style of map, it's impressive in terms of what SwarmOfBears was able to accomplish in terms of the RPG, role-playing, world building that happened here. Just really, really cool stuff happening. In terms of the in terms of the rest of the map, you know, it's like I don't like boss fights in Minecraft. You know, I love games like Dark Souls, and you know, where you have to fight a boss 100 times to be able to beat them, and And I love bosses like Night King Grim and in Hollow Knight, where again it's really a process of kind of learning the moves and stuff. But well, first of all, like a lot of the boss fights just all kind of felt the same. Basically, it's like, okay, there's a super powerful move, and there are the particles that represent this move. And if you stay still, this move will kill you. So run around for 10 seconds until this move is done, and then fire your bow a bunch. Right, and I don't know. Maybe that's true for all boss fights. All boss fights are fairly similar mechanics, similar things happening. Interestingly, I think maybe the zombie giant, was the most intriguing boss fight because it did not really follow that pattern as much as some of the other ones did, and had this kind of unique mechanic to it, even though it was kind of broken. I feel like there was another boss that was similar to that, and I can't remember which one it was. There was the boss fight with the giant robot thing. I think it's Area 5. That one was actually pretty interesting, although, again, it was fairly similar, I think. I think it was maybe just because it was a giant robot. I don't know, maybe that's all that made it cool. And then maybe also the one, I think it's the Dragon Lord, the first Dragon Lord fight with the dragon. That one was pretty cool because you had the kind of the sinking platform mechanic, so there's like a timer to the fight. And that one just seemed really kind of really well designed. So I don't know. Even though I don't like the boss fights, I think overall these are probably the best boss fights that we've seen in Minecraft. Maybe, you know, along with maybe some of the boss fights from Ragecraft 4. So definitely has that going for it. In terms of other elements, yeah, I thought that there were quite a few things that kind of broke the map for me, or at least made the map feel really unbalanced or problematic for a number of reasons. One would be the Scrolls of Ultimate Doomsday. Those are too powerful, I think. Although they're a lot of fun to use. And I guess the trade-off is that you can really easily kill yourself. So, I don't know. I actually really did like the kind of spell mechanic in this one. Although I would prefer, like, just like a wand that you don't have to, like, replace all the time. But I don't know. Yeah, I have mixed feelings about it. But also the Spectre Eye. The Spectre Eye, to me, turned the entire map into a flyover map. And if you're not familiar with that terminology, it comes from elections here in America where some states are referred to as flyover states, where it's like, okay, the politicians don't even need to like visit that state. They can just, they already assume that they're going to kind of win the vote, and they just ignore it. And that's kind of what I felt like about the map. It's like, you had these huge, beautiful areas to explore, very distinct areas, very cool looking, but first of all, there wasn't really a lot to find in any of the areas. Secondly, like, there weren't many hidden secrets. You're like, oh, we're dead. Secondly, there's really no incentive to explore, and then you give me a tool, the Spectre Eye, that allows me to just kind of fly over everything, so that I don't even need to, like, walk through these areas. I can just bypass everything. So the Spectre Eye was a lot of fun to use, but I think it kind of broke what could have been a really cool map to explore. And then I think the fireballs and just the ranged destruction of spawners. Cool mechanic. I love the idea. But I don't think map makers have taken into account how incredibly powerful, way overpowered it is. We've seen it in Cake's map, Lost Ember, and I think that's maybe the first map where we've seen it. I'm not entirely sure. But and again, you had like explosive arrows that you could craft all on your own. And similarly here, we had this renewable source of fireballs. To me, it's even worse than like tunneling or bridging through an area, because even with tunneling and bridging, you have to put yourself at risk to some degree. But with the fireballs, I can literally just stand back. It's like going from traditional warfare, hand-to-hand combat, face-to-face, having to stare down your enemy in the eye, to modern warfare where I can be thousands of miles away and press a button. That's what this map did with the fireballs. That's what the range destruction of spawner. I can just stand back and avoid everything and just destroy the dungeon from a distance. That seems just absurd. It kind of takes away the whole point of the map overall. So I think I like the idea of the being able to destroy spawners from a distance, but this needs to be a very rare thing, where players have to think very strategically about how they're using it. Or maybe it's something that only applies to certain types of spawners, or maybe, but the way that I've seen it implemented in maps so far just seems really, really broken. So for map makers, that's something that I would consider quite a lot. And I'm sure most already have kind of thought about that to some degree. But yeah, and then I think there were problems with like the balancing. I think we used pretty much the same gear up until like area 10 or 11 for the most part. And then the loot, the random loot, and the loot became more of a chore after a while. So I didn't really care much for that either. And I don't know. Maybe it would be different if I wasn't playing on cracked difficulty, but it'd be less tedious. I'd have less to complain about, but I'm not really sure. I'm about to run out of time here. But I already found the map kind of easy to begin with, especially the dungeons, so I don't know. Anyways, you guys, that's going to be it for me for today. Be sure to leave your suggestions for the next map you want me to play. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.